Got a lot of new guys on staff. What's it been like getting to know these guys and bringing them in?
Well, it's a lot of fun. We enjoy this part of the season. Every time getting to know one another. It's been good because I've known a few of them a little bit over the years, so it's fun to get them in the room. It's exciting right now going over our football plays and our offense as we look at what we did last year, good and bad, as we move into trying to make some corrections and some changes to get some fresh ideas. So it's been entertaining so far. We're only in day 2 of that, so we haven't got through the power play yet, but one of these days we will.
Yeah, obviously things went awry when Justin went down. Now that you have some hindsight and you can't say, well, we're going to find new ways to score points, how much did that impact what you guys were trying to do last year?
As far as when Justin Hunter got hurt, well, it's damaging when you take a talented player out of your offense. Obviously, it changes how you look. But football programs, injuries are a part of life, and that's not an excuse. We didn't handle that well. So basically, I'm looking back more on how to handle that situation better than any X's and O's. Just making sure our mentality's right. We're ready to go. Whoever we put on the field is ready to play football. So it's difficult though when you lose a good football player. Every program in the country faces that, and we faced it this past season, and quite honestly didn't handle it as well as we had hoped.
Did you think that you guys were too invested in what Rick and Justin could do on the outside, and that maybe needed more of a backup plan if something happened like what did happen?
I don't know that that's the case, because when they're your 2 best players, you're trying to get them the football. So too invested might not be right. Probably not as good at the alternative things you needed to do when they came about. But I think I'd probably fall victim to that throughout my whole career. I try to hang my hat on the good ones and deal with the negative stuff if it takes place, which is what took place this past fall.
With the receivers that you signed in Patterson, Howard, those guys, does this give you an insurance policy so you can continue to open it up a little bit?
We hope so. Like Derek had mentioned to you gentlemen, that depth is critical, so we're hoping to make sure that continues down that way. Those kids are going to be coming in here and we're expected to get on the field and play right now.
Jim, what do you do? I mean, when you look in and get into lockdown and you start looking at the run game, do you change your approach in any way this spring compared to maybe last year?
Well, I first walked out on the balcony, was going to jump off a few times, but I chose not to. I didn't find that to be a good answer for me and my family. So, not really. That's what I'm talking about. From a schematic standpoint, is there a lot of changes that need to be made? Probably not. We just need to do the things that we want to do better. We didn't run well, we didn't block well, and those are the 2 things that are important when you're trying to get it done. And it's got to be done with the right attitude and proper mechanics and all those things. So it's basically getting to first base. The schemes are second base. Let's get to first base, and you do that by learning to play football with leverage and with a little bit of an attitude. We've got to develop a little better persona when it comes to running the ball.
You hear some coaches say, well, we're going to be more physical and that type of thing.
Well, I've never met a coach that doesn't say that.
When you look back at what you've done, do you need to be anything change?
Well, the obvious
approach there?
No, certainly. I think anytime you watch a run game that's not being effective, you're not being physical enough. That's the first thing that stands out. That's glaring all the time, and it shows up on our video also. We want to try to be a more physical football team. I'm going to try as a play caller to put them in better positions from an X and O standpoint. Ultimately, they got to go out and win their individual battles against who they got to block, and that usually gets down to fundamentals, techniques, and your mindset going into the ball game. You got to have that swagger about you that you want to whoop his hind end, and that's what we got to develop a little bit more of.
Does anything change with you as the quarterback's coach? I mean, I know you've been hands-on in the practice field, but having them in the meeting room, does anything change?
No.
Will Coach Henshaw still have any work
with the
quarterback?
He'll always be around. Every time Bray throws an interception, it'll be Henshaw's fault, of course. No, Darren's got a great background in that, and he'll work a lot with me when I need help with that. No question about it. He'll be involved with the quarterback still.
Jim Tyler had a disappointing end to his season. How have you seen him respond?
Well, he seems to be. I think a lot of our team is working their hind ends off right now and doing everything we're asking them to do. So the response for the team as a whole, not so singling out individuals, but they seem to be working very hard right now. Real pleased with that.
Jim, were you surprised at all with the amount of staff turnover that there was after this season?
I don't know. I don't even think about those things. I think, and I've shared this with every coach that's joined our staff and every coach that leaves our staff, where you work is so personal, and that gets down to, and you guys face this within your own profession, is do I want to make a change? Do I want to go do this? That's a personal decision that individuals have to make. I have always enjoyed everybody I work with, and when they make those calls, I support them and move on with the next staff. And I'm enjoying getting to know these guys, and they'll bring in fresh ideas, which is probably what we need a little bit right now.
Chemistry is important.
with some of the changes, you're absorbing some new guys, but you're still the offensive coordinator. How do you bring those guys in and take on the reshuffling with the coaches that remain?
Well, I think that what I always try to do is get everybody on the grassroots level. Let's go through our base offense. This is who we are. Now let's share some ideas. Let's talk about what you did a little bit differently and see how they mix into what we're going to do right now. But primarily it's just getting to know one another, getting to know one another's personalities, who's a little fiery, who isn't, who's as cool as I am and who isn't. So with nobody, I agree. So we keep facing that, and it's been fun.